Ever felt left out of the crypto craze? Not anymore. Welcome to Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where community meets opportunity. Our clubs are popping up nationwide, from Sarasota to Nashville, Boston to St. Louis. Join us and unlock a world of benefits. Access all clubs worldwide, earn through referrals, and dive into specialized crypto education. Need help buying crypto? We've got you covered, often with reduced fees. But wait, there's more. Enjoy perks like Bitcoin ATMs, silver purchases, and exclusive investment opportunities. Our state-of-the-art facilities offer podcast rooms, event spaces, and co-working areas. Stay informed with FGTV, our exclusive crypto news and education channel. Choose your membership, from day passes to individual or company plans. Individual members get access for themselves plus 2 guests, perfect for bringing friends or family. Companies can bring up to 15 employees or guests, fostering team growth and networking. Connect, learn, and grow with like-minded crypto enthusiasts. Ready to join the revolution? Visit bitcoinbencryptoclub.com or call 562-526-0813 today. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, your gateway to crypto success.
Good morning and welcome to the Bitcoin Ben show. Today, this is Dr. J sitting in for Bitcoin Ben, who is driving from, I believe, from Vegas. And he had a very successful meeting there. We are excited about potentially opening up a club, a new club in Vegas. The big Bitcoin show is coming up in a few months. And so there's a lot of excitement down there. Today, we've got a great show. We're going to cover a lot of very interesting facets of the economy that impacts Bitcoin, that impacts tokenization, thinking about what the role of gold and the role of Bitcoin. So we've got a lot of interesting things going on. But before I go to that, the El Salvador property and resort is coming along very nicely. We are looking forward to opening that resort very soon. I'm going to be in El Salvador and San Salvador with Bitcoin Ben that second week of March. It's going to be a fun event. We're getting the website ready, and you will be able to start booking your reservations in San Salvador very soon. We're also are looking at multiple other properties to expand within South America, and that's where a lot of the excitement right now actually is. It is a cheaper way to live. There's a better quality of life. South America has tons of minerals, tons of natural assets, tons of investments are flowing in there. So that's going to be a hotbed over the next several years. And I have with me on this show a fantastic, amazing person who I've known for many years, Mr. Sebastian Quinones. And Sebastian is going to be joining us from Santiago, Chile. He travels all around the world, and he talks about how the gateway to South America could quite be through Chile, where a lot of it's an A1, P1 rated country, very, very first world in many ways, also the heart of mining. And frankly, as you see South America, as you see some of these other countries like Argentina, Venezuela, that have had inflationary problems, that have had currency problems, Brazil, you see the adoption rate of Bitcoin to be actually the highest in the world. So even though you hear a lot about El Salvador being a Bitcoin friendly and being a Bitcoin country, only about 8% of the people actually use Bitcoin regularly. Whereas there are over 60 million people in South America that have crypto wallets with some of the highest usage in places like Argentina and Brazil, over 20% in Argentina, 18% in Brazil. So that's where a lot of the excitement is going to be. With that, welcome to the show, Sebastian. Can we get Sebastian on? There he is. Good morning, my friend. How are you today?
Great. Very happy and grateful to have the chance to be here with you and sharing everything with the Bitcoin Club audience, the Bitcoin Ben Club. So I'm here, happy to see you again, and let's discuss all of these interesting topics.
Indeed. Now, before we begin, you're in Santiago, Chile right now, right?
Yes.
And next week you're going to be in Toronto for some meetings.
Yeah. Next week, Toronto is one of the biggest mining congress. So I'm gonna go representing the Chilean delegation. So we will be looking to have partners, investors for lithium in the whole region.
And you're going to be taking your warm jackets and coats.
Absolutely.
Because for our viewers who don't know, in South America, of course, in places like Chile, the weather is exactly reversed. So you are right now in the middle of hot season, aren't you?
Absolutely. 30 Celsius degrees.
30 Celsius.
Yeah.
I wish I was there. Well,
Yeah.
we're in Florida here, but much of the country is under cold, and you've got the reverse temperatures. All right. So Sebastian is the director of the Lithium Chamber of Commerce in Chile. He is also the CEO of a company called Private Vizier. And what he has been facilitating for the last actually over a decade, is investments from around the world, Middle East, Africa. You spent a lot of time in Africa. Give us a sense of a little bit of your background, because I think you're one of those interesting people who's like the most interesting men in the world. Now, you spent a whole bunch of years looking for gold in Africa, didn't you? Give us a little experience from that.
Well, I start my trip. Okay, all this beautiful challenge in Latin America. I start to work with the small local communities in Chile, in Bolivia, and in Peru. And then I moved to Colombia in 2017. And after Colombia, I had a few successes, and I decided to move to Dubai to talk with one of my buyers. And he invites me in a very friendly way to go to Africa to start to look for prospects. I spent some time in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Tanzania, and DRC Congo, Uganda, Mali, one of the most beautiful and amazing countries and regions of the world that I already visit. It's a very beautiful place, and of course, with a lot of challenges and a lot to do there. You know, it's always a difficult situation to connect the investors with the real resources. You know, it's very difficult to build that bridge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now we have just started. And as you said, in Africa, while there are many resources and many gold assets, for example, getting any of the investments done there, or even worse, moving that out of the country, is a very challenging task, if not impossible, because of the development. Whereas in South America, it's a little different today. Share a little bit about your experience between the two continents, and both in terms of investments as well as in terms of the ability to do business there.
Well, of course, when you talk about mining, you have to talk first about the resources, right? So when you want to establish a parallel between resources in Africa and in Latin America, you have tremendous reserves of mineral assets in both countries. You have copper, lithium, rare elements, iron, cobalt, tantalum, vanadium, all the minerals that we need today for this technology revolution that we are facing. Okay, but the situation here is that as human beings, we need to have levels of certainty. Okay, so as in Bitcoin, you have the blockchain to build that bridge between the investment and the projects, as an example, to have full certainty of what is happening because of the smart contracts. You face a very big difficulty in Africa, that is the corruption, and a few parts of Latin America also. They are very corrupt countries. So you can have the best people in the world, the best assets in the world, but if you don't have certain degree of transparency and efficiency, there's no investment that will bring their benefits. You see, so
very good point there. Let me ask you on that particular issue. now that the adoption of Bitcoin is becoming more prevalent, and the idea of tokenization, there were a bunch of NFTs, which was essentially scribbles that were being sold and marketed, and some people made money, but most lost money. But the actual idea of tokenization is quite powerful, because these tokens can actually represent investments in real assets, correct?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
once that underlying asset starts to be developed, we're going to get into that in the next segment. But before we get to tokenization, share with me a little bit about your macro perspective of the South American equation for why investors are coming there, why South America is going to be the future for the next 10 years. Tell me some of the big events that are going to shape and mold the macroeconomic perspective, and why countries like Chile, like Argentina, Milei is now making some great progress. El Salvador, Bukele is now, with Bitcoin, he's taken the initiative to, promote that. Countries like, Brazil and Bolivia, they're coming forward. Uruguay, Colombia, the tremendous assets over there. Panama, of course, is attracting a lot of Middle Eastern money. Share with us what your worldview is for what South America looks like, and both in terms of as a consumer market with 60 million plus Bitcoin users, but also as a country that's going to be opening up more for the world.
Well, we have to realize that South America today is the farm of the world, and also could be the fuel of the world. Okay, we are facing, of course, multiple challenges in terms of satisfying our energy requirements because of the production of cryptocurrencies, because of the artificial intelligence, because of the natural growth that of way of living is asking for. Right? When we talk about our principles, or values, or wish and deserve to be better and to have more things for us, for our kids, we need to back that with natural resources. Okay, so Latin America today has the weather, has the land, has the natural resources to provide all of that, and it's very good that we establish that that fact in our plans to grow for the next 50 years. Of course, it doesn't matter if we choose the way to go by oil and gas, that is perfectly good, but all these transitions, or energy transitions, are already happening. So we will be facing a tremendous increase in the consumption of natural resources. Just to put you an example, by 2030, the consumption of lithium will grow at least at 300%. And we don't have enough resources for that today. Or the copper consumption will grow at least 200 times. When we are facing these challenges about the microchips and screens of the cell phones and all of these critical and strategic minerals, we have to face the fact that we need to increase our production. Okay, so we have to establish that need. It's not something that a couple of greedy people wants to do because they want to have money. It's not that. It's that we need as a humanity, we need as Americans, we need as people from the free world to have enough resources to back our expectations of growth and to have the quality of life that we want. Because if we don't produce more, we will not be able to sustain what we are already consuming. We need to produce.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's a brilliant point that you're making. Not only the projected growth and the kind of minerals that are required from Mother Earth to actually sustain that quality of life, but also what we are finding, Sebastian, is the supply chain for even existing minerals that are there. So, for example, a few years ago, we were looking at a port, a deep water port, right near Antofagasta, and where a lot of copper is being mined, lithium is going to be mined, And what we found was you can mine all this all you want, but if the supply chain is weak, you're not going to be able to move it to the refineries, to the other countries that you need. And we were working on a deep water port that we were representing to, potentially utilize for the kind of things that we need to do. Another aspect that you and I talked about earlier, and I want you to touch upon both of these projects, the one in Patagonia, you talked about renewable resources. Down in the southernmost tip in Patagonia, we have a project for green hydrogen,
Yes.
and ammonia. And to move all of that, the Middle East, Emiratis, the Saudis, they're putting in money to develop a port right on the tip of Cape of Good Hope, right? To move minerals in an effective manner. So talk a little bit about not just the requirement to create more mines, to create more infrastructure, these investment opportunities, but also how this global ecosystem is going to work. Because where you mine is not necessarily where you process, is not necessarily where you make the car batteries, is not necessarily where, these cars are going to be sold. So tie this together for us, how you see South America being critical in that role.
Well, most part of the world movement of asset passed through Latin America. In fact, the Cape of Horns of New Hope, as you established, used to be the old Panama Channel before the Panama already exists.
Canal, the Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal already exists.
Yes.
So it's very critical to establish all of these logistics supply chains, because it's the only way that we can securitize, have access to these materials. Just as an example, when you talk about superconductors and when you talk about the basic needs to construct, let's say iron or even some particular kinds of rocks, you need to have a safe supply chain. Okay, so the only way that you will be total certainty about the security of your goods is if you control your own ports and your own locations, or through
indeed, and President Trump, and President Trump knows that, which is why he is now taking back the Panama Canal from the Chinese, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a very, very strategic move to gain more access and business development with South America.
Well, if you see, it's one of the markets that is growing in a more reasonable way, because you face the growth of the population in China, in India, in Bangladesh, are amazing in terms of numbers, but it also makes a lot of problems in terms of inequality, because this kind of population growth makes also other issues, migration,
Indeed.
other kind of problems.
We'll come to right back. We have to have a little message from our sponsors, CALIX Solutions, and the CALIX Solution computers that you can store your Bitcoin on. We'll be cutting over for an ad. We'll be right back.
In a world where your data is constantly under attack, one company stands for your digital freedom. Introducing CALIX Solutions, your gateway to ultimate online privacy and secure cryptocurrency trading. Meet the Liberty laptop. With its modified OS and advanced tracking prevention, it's your shield against surveillance. Access restricted areas, use recommended security software, and browse with confidence. Your digital footprint? Virtually non-existent. For the crypto pros, we present the Crypto Laptop. Pre-configured on premium hardware for secure trading. Optimized for your favorite wallets and exchanges, it's the fortress your digital assets deserve. Both laptops come with expert individual training and support. You're never alone in your journey to digital empowerment. At CALIX Solutions, we put you in control. No more worrying about data breaches or compromised transactions. Ready to join the revolution? Visit calixsolutions.io and choose your perfect laptop today. Plus, become an affiliate and earn while sharing the power of digital freedom. CALIX Solutions. Unlock your digital freedom.
Give us a call or text at 702-845-8276 or visit us directly at calixsolutions.io.
Okay, we're back at the Bitcoin Ben show, and I'm Dr. J. I have with me Sebastian Quinones out from Santiago. He's been kind enough to call in today. So, Sebastian, going back to where we left off, you are making a very important point, which is, how do we create sustainable development while benefiting the people of the countries, the people of this earth? It cannot just be a one-sided draw. We need to, and this ties very closely to what Bitcoin Ben has been trying to do with his club. He sees a huge rise in digital currencies, in digital assets that are going to become really important and gain in value. And what we are doing through these crypto clubs is trying to bring in the average person, not the Warren Buffetts, not the Larry Ellisons. We're trying to bring in the average guy, the guy who drives the truck, the guy who goes to work every morning to set up our transmission wires. And we are trying to get them explain to them how to open a crypto wallet, how to get involved, how to buy their first Bitcoin, how to get involved in the digital economy. Because as the price of Bitcoin went from $10,000 to $100,000 and will eventually go to $1 million or more, how does the average person participate in that growth? How does the average person benefit from that growth, right? So that has always been what our club has been about the average Joe, the average Jane, making sure we can do good things, that the wealth creation that is happening through technology, the wealth creation that is happening through minerals, the wealth creation that's happening through renewable energies, the wealth creation that'll happen through investments in South America, in El Salvador, in other parts of South America. How does the average person participate in it, and why is that important? So go back to what you were sharing earlier about improving the quality of life for all, not just the few.
Well, I think that is a very relevant question, and one of the first answers is with knowledge, right? So that is one of the best things that this crypto club is doing. It's bringing knowledge to the people. Then other thing that you need to have is, of course, a network. It's very relevant to work with others that are in the same page as you. So once we decide to participate in this kind of investment, in this kind of projects, it's good to find a way where my efforts can become a bigger portion of their situation. So when you talk about mining, as an example, or when you talk about any kind of energy projects, you're talking about massive investments, okay? So that's why this very small group is the one that controls it, because they have the relationships with these deep state levels, or with the banking, international banking, or with the old establishment in terms of policy. So the beautiful thing about these smart contracts and the tokenization, and in general about the crypto enthusiasts, is that this kind of advance in terms of the security in investment, the traceability of the operations, can provide the certainty level that these investments need. So, as an example, instead of going to a giant corporation to ask for a very profitable project and wait 10 years to make it happen because they already have another 5 projects, we can go directly to ask and to invite the community to evaluate it with all the same requirements that a rational people will use to raise the funds that is necessary. And in that way, you don't need to go to buy the options in the stock market. You go and buy a portion directly. So if your investment is good, you will have immediately the results.
This is very important to understand. I think, Sebastian, you have raised a tremendous point here. Just like in Bitcoin, even though the price of Bitcoin, a single Bitcoin is $100,000, it doesn't mean that the average person needs to have $100,000 to invest in it, to participate in that gain. So you can buy a tenth of a Bitcoin, you can buy 100th of a Bitcoin, you can buy a millionth of a Bitcoin, you can put a $20 bill in the machine and get Bitcoin for it and start participating in that digital economy. Now, let me draw a parallel for you that my friend Sebastian just spoke about tokenization. I'm going to break it down for you so you can actually understand how the average person can get involved in these very large projects. You would think that, oh, there's no way I can be a part of a gold mine project. Oh, I don't have enough money for that. Oh, no way I can be part of a copper or a lithium or a rare earth mineral project. Yes, you can. There's no way I can be part of a huge resort or a investment asset. Yes, you can. And the way it is, the new way of doing this is something called tokenization. And I'm going to break it down really simply for you. So let's take a mine, for example. And we're going to take that because these natural assets are potentially the things that can back, that they can become the back to a token. So for example, let's say there is a 5,000 hectare piece of land. It's just a piece of land, and say it's worth $100,000. What I can do is I can break up that piece of land into 100,000 tokens of $1 each. You can buy $1 token, and that token represents the value of that 5,000 hectares of land. Okay? And you're holding on to this token. Now, fast forward. That piece of land happens to have minerals in it. It happens to have copper or lithium or cobalt or nickel or cadmium or any other mineral, iron ore. So you hire the team hires an engineering company, because once I sold 100,000 tokens, I have some money. I use that money to hire an engineering company that comes and puts drill holes into the land. They put surveys on the land. They study the land. They look at the mineral content. And what they find is, oh, gee, we've got, for example, gold in this land. We got 0.16% of gold concentration. So they produce a report called a 43101 or a JORC report, which is a very technical report which clearly outlines, it's like an audited statement for that piece of land. But now you know that there's $1 billion worth of gold sitting under that mountain or sitting under that land. The token that you bought for $1 now suddenly became $100. Why? Because that, or $10. Why? Because that piece of land, which was $100,000, now with this report in hand, that value has just gone to 10 million. So that piece of land has become worth 10 million, and therefore the token that represents that underlying asset became worth $100 or $10 or whatever the math turns out to be. Now, let's go a step forward. Not only do we have a report, but we actually get the permits, the rights to do mining over there. Now, these are called concessions. So we get a whole bunch of concessions and we pay for them. And now you have the rights, the legal rights, the permits to mine. The value of that same land, which was $1 million, which became $10 million with a technical report, just became worth $50 million with that permit in your hand. So the token, which reflects the underlying value of the asset, just became worth $50 now. Fast forward 6 more months or 8 more months. A joint venture deal gets cut with a Codelco, with an Anglo-American Gold, with a Enami, with a big company that has the big machines who are going to come in with a $300 million investment with the big trucks and the diggers, and they start digging the land and they start to create the mines, and they have a joint venture, 80-20 joint venture. Suddenly, that same land, which is worth $50 million, is now worth $500 million or $1 billion, because these mines are usually $1 billion. And fast forward, now it's actually producing gold. Now you have the opportunity to actually convert your token into a gold bar. You have the ability to convert into a Bitcoin. whatever the conversion may be. You may be just converting it to a bond, which you get a fixed income for the rest of your life. So I just walked you through a very simplified version of what tokenization means. And that tokenization can be done for almost any real estate asset. So for Bitcoin Ben, who's buying hotels and resorts in South America, we can tokenize these resorts and you can be a part of that growth as we build a hotel, as we continue to market the hotel and the revenues continue to grow. The underlying token gains value. Now, back to you, Sebastian. Tell me a little bit about your views on how not only the average person can participate in this tokenized economy, but what are some of the new and innovative ways in which these tokens are being used for renewables and for some of the projects that you are, multi-billion-dollar projects that you're representing to your investors in the Middle East and around the world?
Well, you know that even the big companies, I'm talking about energy companies, real estate companies, or mining companies, sometimes they need to have a more investment, okay? Because the whole market is subject to this kind of movements, to the war, to all of these situations that can slow a big project, okay? Can make slower a big project. So they are looking to have this kind of techniques and technological instruments to speed up and to make more efficient the traction of new investors. So there is a whole movement that is pushing to tokenize and to bring these smart contracts to the conventional ways of raising money or to securitize the supply chain. As an example, there is a few, let's say, fair trade seals or stamps that are using blockchain to certify that the emerald that I bought in Colombia, as an example, it comes from a rational and a respectful company that mines it, and it's not come from a.
Now you're reminding me of our trip to Colombia. That was quite something. We had to get into armored cars, and we were taken by these guys with lots of big guns into the Emerald Trade Center, right? We have seen how that business is being done, and it's very hard for the average person. I mean, you and I can get into the armored cars and go to meet the people who are mining these emeralds, but the average person doesn't need to do that if they buy the token that represents the value of that emerald. And you know, if we were talking about building the emerald supply chain right from Colombia into New York and distribute it in Dubai and Singapore, right? So that complexity is simplified by doing this tokenization. Is that what you were talking about?
Absolutely. You have less intermediaries, you have a more efficient economy, you have the resources straight to the point. You know, normally when you're talking about supply chain or about energy generation, a lot of the money goes directly to the investment firms, you know. So a lot of in fact, resources are energy deployed to produce all the resources is waste, right? So when we are talking about transparency, when we are talking about traceability, we are also talking about efficiency. We are talking about a better way to put our resources. So you can go directly to the asset, you can go directly to the producer, to the farmer, to the miner, to whoever is bringing real value. That is our crusade, you know, to go to the real value and to bring more value back to the people.
And cut out the middlemen.
Yes, absolutely.
And so this technology is not only going to allow us to cut out the middlemen, but there's another aspect of it, Sebastian, that you know that I really think is important to people who are going to invest, and that is the traceability aspect of it. Not all emeralds are the same. Not all gold bars are the same. Not all lithium is the same. Because if you are creating lithium from Congo, where kids are being exploited and people are being killed and blood diamonds are being created, people may not want to invest in those type of things. We want to invest in sustainable mining, in environmental practices that are good, that are going to leave a better world for our children and our future. And this is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. I think we all understand that even with President Trump's drill baby drill, we got to do things in a manner that leaves our world in a better place than where we were, and that is happening through new technologies. For example, you are promoting a public company. We won't name it right now, but with DLE technology, direct lithium extraction, compared to environmental losses and evaporation ponds. Speak a little bit about that, how technology is helping us shape a better future through reduction of pollution, through reduction, of labor that is illegal labor, and how the tokenization actually helps bring that process also to bear.
Well, when I see your beautiful hat, I can see America first, and America first means to protect your own land, your own people, right? So
Yes.
one of the most efficient ways to protect your own people is having fair rules for everybody. So we are in a free trade economy in the world, right? So this free trade economy needs to have equal standards. So when I have to trust that a country that is not a democratic country or is a dictatorship or is an enemy of the freedom, okay, will comply the same rules that I'm using, I don't have any certainty, right? So
True.
the things that we are trying to do at the level of the mining production and the mining supply chain and energy supply chain is have everything at the table, everything open, so you can follow the whole process. You will say, okay, if I'm buying a smartphone that is produced in US, right? And I'm very happy and I'm proud because I'm promoting the national industry in US or the Latin America industry, whatever. I have to be sure that all the materials come from a safe resource, right? Because that's why I'm paying a plus. That's why I'm
Very
paying
true.
Yeah.
What wasn't it even for when we were talking about the large European companies that are producing e-fuels, they were willing to pay a premium on the green hydrogen, on the ammonia, when it was being done in a manner that was, good policies for labor, good policies for environment, good policies for mining.
I have the chance. I never had the chance to be in an oil production facility in Texas, as an example. But I'm sure that they have all their labor regulations, and you will see the laborers with their specific shoes to protect their bodies, with the helmet, with everything.
Yes,
But I
indeed.
have the
Yes.
chance to be in Africa in a few other ways to produce the oil, and I'm sure that they don't have nothing of that, and they don't even have shoes at all.
Yes.
So it's not possible that you have the same price, you see, because in
Yes.
one way or another, then with these kind of countries or these kind of productions come to a certain situation, they create a political problem, a situation that in one way or another will come to the most favored countries, will go to knock the door of America, will start to ask them for money or to push them with problems, you see. So we live in one earth. Of course, we have to protect our own interest and our own benefits, but also we have to be very smart in the way that we establish the conditions to trade with us.
And that's, really an important part of the conversation, because as Bitcoin becomes a commodity, just like gold, just like copper, just like nickel, just like lithium is starting to become a commodity, it is going to become increasingly more important, more relevant to understand that supply chain and get that seal of approval, that certification that blockchain can give us. the underlying blockchain technology on which Bitcoin is built, the same exact values that you see for transparency, traceability, immutability, privatization, your public key, all of those values that emanate from the underlying blockchain are now being applied to create these tokens for almost any solid underlying asset that you can. But it is going to be extremely important for leaders and for folks who are like us, who are driving policy in this direction, to keep in mind that not all Bitcoin is actually the same. Even though the value might be the same, just like not all gold bars are the same. Some of them are stained with blood, some of them are not. And there's a difference in that value. And so we have to be cognizant towards that fact. And we understand that the underlying economics supersedes. But if you can show a model through tokens which democratizes how investments are made, which democratizes the transparency with which people and investors can see. Now, here at Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, we have a venture group. We have many wonderful investors who are looking for great opportunities to invest in El Salvador, to invest in South America, to invest in different classes of assets. And we're going to be bringing all of those pieces to our private membership. And once we start putting these on tokenized blockchains, where it's easily redeemable between Bitcoin and an underlying asset, you start to create a really innovative market in which assets can be developed, they can become monetized, and we'll be right back. Are we doing an ad right now, folks? Guys, are we doing an ad right now? Yeah. Ad? Okay. Oh no, almost. Okay, we're almost running out of time, so we'll hold on that ad, and let's close this out. A little bit about Sebastian, your parting thoughts as we talk about this digital economy, and as the physical world moves towards that tokenized world. Where do you see the next 5 years evolving? And we're going to have you back for our show again to discuss more, but give us some closing thoughts on where you see the next year or so, both in South America and in the world of tokenization.
Well, I have been seeing a lot of intents, okay, to establish tokens in terms of minerals, in terms of other kind of assets. But it's very good that we start to use a higher standard, okay? So the good thing now is to start to involve the academia, the scientifics, the people that has already been traditionally in this kind of business. I'm talking about geologists, geophysics, mining experts, energy experts from the traditional industry, to match their knowledge with this new way to raise investment, and also to securitize the transparency and efficiency of the numbers. Because now we are just relying, and rely is okay, but faith is only for God, right?
That's right.
Have faith.
That's exactly right.
For the rest of the things, I have to trust, but I have to have the proofs to see, to
Trust
verify.
but verify. Trust but verify, as President Reagan would. Sebastian, thank you so much for being on this call. Really appreciate you as always, and I'll have you back again on specific projects that we want to talk. But thank you for your time today. Appreciate you being on the call.
Thank you. All the best.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So thank you. All right. Now, guys, as you know, the investments are going to be available to you, to our club members. But what we're also doing right now is we put a loan program together. And I really want to start talking about that loan program starting today. We have got 2 different partners that we have signed up already. And of course, many of you as investors will be investing into the properties, into the assets, and into Bitcoin, and the way you have already been doing it. But at the same time, the Bitcoin value has been growing much higher than perhaps the rate at which we can borrow money. So there is an arbitrage that is to be had. We're putting these loan programs together for our club members, which starting this week, you'll be able to make applications. And these loans can be both, there are multiple different types of loans. Some are term loans, some are 0% interest for a certain period of time. And we're going to give you more details when you call in. But these loans can be very valuable when you want to push harder and you believe that the bull market is going to be more advantageous over the next couple of years, where you can take the loans and reinvest that into Bitcoin if you so choose, or reinvest that into properties and assets that Bitcoin Ben is bringing to the private club that we run. So please do call in and get more details about these loans. We will have you fill up the applications, and we look forward to continuing this dialogue and about tokenization, about assets, about making money, about being the leaders in Bitcoin and crypto education, bringing the team together with us to move forward into this brave new world of not just digital currencies, but digital assets. With that, thank you again for being on as viewers. I love doing this show with you. I will see you guys on Thursday on the Bitcoin Thursdays with Dr. J. And in the meantime, God bless you and God bless America.
Welcome to the future of luxury travel, where cryptocurrency meets paradise. Introducing Bitcoin, Ben all-inclusive beach resort, nestled on the pristine shores of El Salvador. Every room is a gateway to adventure, complete with your personal 4x4 vehicle, scooter, and jet ski. Picture yourself cruising along scenic coastal roads, feeling the thrill of freedom. Glide across crystal clear waters on your private jet ski, embracing the rush of adrenaline. Return to your luxurious suite where comfort meets cutting-edge technology. Indulge in world-class amenities from gourmet dining to rejuvenating spa treatments. Experience the vibrant nightlife with entertainment options that cater to the most discerning tastes. Invest in a resort that's not just keeping up with the times, but defining the future of travel. Join us in creating the ultimate paradise. Contact us at 562-526-0813 and become part of the future of luxury travel.